stand for something, and that's competition, that's winning. We feel that there's a championship DNA that you can develop.
Dad, I'm going to do this real time. So you haven't done this coverage. It's good for you guys to concentrate. Listen.
Culture is huge. It just comes down to developing winning habits. That's something we've been working on all year since the start of training camp. So what you're seeing now is just kind of all those habits coming together on this stage.
I love this team, my teammates, how hard they play.
The Heat play a lot of guys. That's been the major success story for this Miami team because you don't have to rely on a Jimmy Butler night in and night out.
What's up, boy?
We just got a bunch of guys that don't care about stats, don't care about any of that stuff, just care about winning.
You just can't say enough about Pat Riley, who has done it at every level. But to retool this franchise, the way that they've built this team unconventionally, Jimmy Butler, the young nucleus, the undrafted guys, what a season it's been.
I'm definitely very excited, very blessed to be on a team like this, especially my rookie year. I'm definitely excited to just, be a part of something I've dreamt of my whole life.
You're going to have to do things with force, okay? And purpose, because they're up and into us.
It's a business trip, and we know what we're capable of, and I'd love to go to war with this group of guys that we have.
What a franchise they've built. It's just amazing the culture that they've put together. They look to be in prime position to make a deep postseason run.
We've got a good one for you. First game of the slate today could mean elimination not only for the #1 team in the East, but the team with the best regular season record in the league. The Bucks down 3 games to none, and Jimmy Butler and the Heat aren't showing any signs of slowing down. If you haven't heard it already too many times, I'll say it again for you. No team in the NBA has come back from a 3 games to none deficit in a best-of-7 series, so not looking too good for the Bucks right now. Welcome into Hoops Streams. We're live on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and the ESPN app. I'm Christine Williamson. Here in Bristol, Connecticut, we got 3 people joining us. Amin in Phoenix, Arizona. We got Perk, of course, in H-Town. And we are blessed with Cassidy Hubbarth joining us live from the bubble. Cass, I'm going to start with you because I heard it's raining. You guys had to switch up your location a little bit, move around a little bit. And I know you don't like the Miami, sorry, I just said Miami because I lived in Miami, but the Florida weather is not doing it for you right now. It's not doing it for you right now.
That's what happens in Florida. It rains, it downpours, it ventures on a hurricane, and then boom, sunshine is out. Because actually the sun is out right now. Along the same lines of how there's lizards everywhere, and I do want to give you guys an update. I have a new roommate, a lizard. And I tried to get him out of my room, and I couldn't get him out of my room. So now I'm scared always that I'm going to wake up with a lizard on my face, and this is bubble life. This is Florida life, and I'm terrified. I have these little house shoes that I wear in my room. And I shake them out every single time, thinking that the lizard's in there. It's okay though. I'm gonna survive.
That sounds absolutely horrifying. I'm definitely afraid of lizards. I can't stand them. They are awful. So I could not imagine being in a hotel room and just knowing that there's a lizard lurking in the shadows. I couldn't
Under
do
my
that.
bed.
Okay, well, outside of the bubble, basketball carries on. In the driveway, check out this kid. He's totally obliterating his brother.
Oh, wow.
Can that be a block and a charge? Perk, as a parent,
That kid looks like he didn't never want to do that.
if you see your kids doing that in the driveway, are you proud or are you mad that just happened?
I'm proud. That's what big brothers are supposed to do to their little brothers. That's what I do to them when I play them in a 1-on-1. It's called daddy ball. You got to take advantage of them. That's the only way the little brother is going to learn. That's the only way they going to learn is by getting dominated by older and bigger competition. Of course, I applaud that type of activity in the Perkins household.
Oh my goodness. I mean, do you agree with that? He could have gotten hurt.
I'm glad Perk told the truth because when we brought Stone on the show in Houston, he did that to me. He does. I thought we were just doing a fun little, all right, go ahead and dunk it. And he went up like with authority, and he put chest to chest. I said, what's going on here?
I remember when that happened. I remember that when that happened, but you are a larger person than him. So the smaller person is vulnerable in those kind of situations.
Not by much.
You're right. Okay, well, let's get to the basketball in the bubble. Inside the bubble, Giannis is listed as questionable. Or we could just watch that again.
One more time.
Giannis is listed as
That's
questionable.
him on Gary Clark.
Exactly. For the game for this afternoon. He twisted his ankle early in Game 3 on a drive to the basket. Amin, do you think that this Bucks team can win if Giannis isn't at 100%?
Well, can they? I mean, they can theoretically, but it's going to be an uphill battle. Part of it, the problem is he's been kind of nullified. His impact is lessened because he doesn't have the same kind of explosion. He can't put the same kind of pressure on the Heat defense. So if he's not going to be that explosive Giannis, then the Bucks have to find a new way to make him a threat. And I would argue that they should have been thinking about this even before he got hurt. Because clearly giving it to him at the top of the key and let him try to put his head down and dribble his way and then spin move, that wasn't going to work either. I'll be honest. I don't see the Bucks winning this game. I think you're down 3-0. I think they make you pack your bags before you show up to the arena. There are a lot of people who are homesick, ready to go home right now.
Perk, you think they're ready to go home?
Are they ready to go home? Christine, listen, you asked the question about if Giannis is not 100%. If he's 100%, they wouldn't beating the Miami Heat. The Miami Heat smell blood, and they're like sharks in the water right now. They're not playing no games. They are on a mission. Every game they're approaching like they're down. They're going to come in today, this evening, and close this series out. Look, when you're out as a player, I've been swept only about 1 or 2 times in my career, right? And when you're down 3-0, it's like, oh man, is it really worth fighting this whole uphill battle? This is the energy in the locker room. You're relaxed. I'm pretty sure the jet is on the runway right now, gassed up. The bags are packed. And they I'm not saying that the Bucks are not going to go out there and compete, but nobody want to fight from being down 3-0. It's pointless.
Perk, do you remember when the Rockets and the Warriors were in the first round and the Warriors went up 3-0 and then Harden hit that shot and they had the shot of their bench and everyone was like, oh, we got to play another one? That's exactly what Perk is talking about. Everybody knows, man, like, I want to go home, especially now they're in the bubble. A lot of them haven't seen their family and friends. They're homesick, man. Guys want to go home.
Yeah. And Amin and Christine and Perk, it just got word from Woj and Malika that Giannis will be playing. He's been upgraded from questionable to active. But, this ankle injury is for real. Giannis was working out pregame, and Malika reported that, John Horst and Mike Budenholzer were out there watching him and huddling up and talking about it, which is not something they normally do. They're not out there usually watching him work out. So, there's that playing into this game of his ankle. There's the pressure of people continuing to talk that, he's going to be a 2-time MVP, Defensive Player of the Year. The pending situation, what's going to happen in the offseason. It's a lot of pressure for Giannis to take on, especially on that bum ankle, and going up against a team that is not going to let down, led by Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler is going to feast on the ability to sweep this team. That is something that is not going to be a letdown by this Heat team, where some teams may come into this game up 3-0, feel like they can relax. That is not going to be happening here, in my opinion, of a Miami Heat team led by Jimmy Butler.
Yeah, Miami Heat, Jimmy Butler certainly hungry. So we'll talk more about that game later. But first, let's talk about last night. Raptors in the Celtics, Game 4. The Raptors suddenly tied at 2 games apiece. The series sure felt like before OG Anunoby hit that game winner back on Thursday. 21, 11, and 7 from Kyle Lowry in Game 4. But really, I think the real reason here is we always bet on black. The team wearing the black jerseys have won every single game. I don't think that's a coincidence at all. Perk, the Raptors, I mean, they're stepping up. Last time it was not looking good for you and the Raptors. What do you think has been the difference?
Well, it's been Kyle Lowry. I mean, you know, Nick Nurse has done a hell of a job, and he got Coach of the Year, well deserved. But Fred VanVleet said in the interview that this team goes and it feeds off of the greatest Raptor of all time, and that's Kyle Lowry. And he has been a superstar in this series in these last 2 games. He's taken on the challenge offensively and defensively. He has been attacking the interior defense of the Celtics. He's been laying it all out on the line. How many times can we count Kyle Lowry hitting the floor last night, taking charges, diving on the floor for loose balls? He set the tone for the Raptors. He's their leader. He is their coacher. He's the greatest Raptor of all time, and he's doing it right now.
I mean, what do you think was the difference?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, shout out to Kyle Lowry and his balls of steel. His words, not mine, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. Because he kept taking shots, and every time I'm like, bro, you're not even going to grimace? You're not even going to, like, hold your midsection? I don't know how many crunches this guy is doing. It's something to behold, definitely. But in addition to what Perk said, I say that also Siakam has been a lot more aggressive the last couple of games. Not as tentative. He's looking for a shot, he's actively trying to take advantage. He needs to be that. Regardless of whether he shoots well or not, that's the burden of being a star, of being a superstar even, on your team, is that sometimes the offense isn't you making shots. Sometimes the offense is just you being aggressive and the defense having to react to your aggression, and that opens the game up for everybody else. And the other part of it is we knew they weren't going to shoot terribly forever. And so last night we saw, I think, a more indicative level of the Raptors' three-point shooting.
Cass, you're in the bubble. You get to see these players, these teams. What are you observing that maybe we can't see?
Well, Kyle Lowry, by the way, played 44 minutes in that game last night. And after the game, Nick Nurse was asked, why are you playing him that many minutes? He's old. And Nick said, I try to ask him, hey, you want to come out? And he barks at me, knowing that, he needs to continue to stay in that game because he is the heart and soul of that team. And I actually saw him back at the hotel, and I was like, how are you not in bed right now, sleeping after, that effort you put out tonight? And he goes, because I'm not human. But, that's also understanding, to your point. Just his humor. He is as dry as they come, but that type of personality that Kyle Lowry takes on. He is a bulldog. He is a positive figure and leader in that locker room, and he's an extension of Nick Nurse, who, as you saw last night, I don't even know how many defenses he threw at the Celtics, and continues to do that in these third quarters, keeping Boston guessing. And Jaylen Brown had a tough night shooting. And I don't expect that to continue throughout the series, but that third quarter is key for Boston to really try to continue to go forward and win, because the Raptors have been owning them the last 2 games, particularly in that quarter.
That is very true. Let's talk Nugs Clips. That's another game that we saw. Game 2. Late in the game, the Nuggets bounced back from their Game 1 absolute blowout. They led wire to wire against the Clips. Jamal Murray had 27 points, while Kawhi Leonard did not score a single point in the fourth quarter. Perk, this series is now tied 1 apiece. Kawhi had an uncharacteristic night. They were able to shut him down completely in the second half. Should they be concerned at all?
Yeah, and look, after the first game, before the first game, I thought that this series was going 7. I jumped the gun watching the first game, and I was like, oh no, it could be over. But what happened in game 2 was that the Denver Nuggets got into them defensively. All of a sudden, Murray and Morris and Grant and Craig, they got into the bodies of Paul George and Kawhi Leonard and Lou Will, and they got aggressive with them, and they was like, hold on, we could actually guard these guys. And so when they saw that they're not that dangerous and that they actually could stay in front of them, now all of a sudden the Nuggets gained confidence. But you have to give the Nuggets credit, because Murray and Jokic offensively was off the charts last night. Jokic's defense was better, by the way. I think Plumlee is an unsung hero that don't get enough credit. And I could actually see this series going 7 games because the Nuggets' length, the Nuggets' athleticism is not going anywhere anytime soon. And these guys are not afraid of the moment. Mind I tell you, they're well coached by Mike Malone.
Yeah, and I would add to that, Perk, that Gary Harris showing up, like he's clearly getting better and getting stronger. He made a big difference last night. The other thing, Jamal Murray gave a really interesting answer in his postgame. They asked him about how the energy could be so different 48 hours after Game 1 when Game 1's energy was so bad 48 hours after Game 7. And Jamal said, well, first of all, I didn't play in the fourth quarter, so I had all that time to rest. We went light the day before, in between. And then, most importantly, Game 2 started at 9 p.m. Eastern. So that gave him most of Saturday to rest. And that obviously gave him a big boost. And then finally, obviously, the Clippers, rather than having 4 days of rest, they're coming off of 48 hours as well. So all those things help. But I'm going to say something else. And I'm wondering if, Perk, you agree with me on this. I finally figured out what is it about the Clippers that makes me a little less than confident about them at times. And it's this. They play basketball like 5 dudes who just met right now. They're great players. They got a great roster. But there's no chemistry. There is no kind of ESP going on between any two players. They're just all out there playing pickup ball. And it doesn't have the same fluidity as what you see, some of these other teams play with. They're not what the Lakers play like, not what the Heat are playing like, the Celtics, the Raptors. All of them have a fluidity and a familiarity that the Clippers don't seem to have.
Well, that's the problem. I mean, is what I said before, and what I also heard Shaq say at one point. You got to have role players. That's the reason that guys are stars in their role, and it's a certain thing of having too much. Because I'm looking at this Clipper roster, and you could have too much. You think about it. Kawhi Leonard needs the ball. Paul George needs the ball. Lou Will needs the ball in his hands. Reggie Jackson needs the ball in his hands. I like all these guys. It's only one basketball. Who's going to sacrifice? Who's going to do the little things? That's why you don't see the chemistry, because they do play my turn basketball. Okay, Kawhi, here go your 5 trips. PG, here go your 5 trips. Morris Twin, he'll go your 2 trips up the floor. And that's how they play, and it's easy to guard. So you're right. If you don't have that chemistry and you don't have guys that are able to accept a lesser role and do other things, then, we saw that last night that Denver could possibly beat these guys.
So Clips take the L, Nuggets get the win. The W and the L is throwing me off. Anyways, I understand you got some winners and losers.
Winners and losers so far in the bubble. Let's get it started with winners. Nail biters. Oh my God, how many of these games are coming down the stretch? I thought this was a game winner. Turns out it's not, because there's an even better game winner coming after it. We had so many great close games. I'm so excited. This is what the playoffs is all about. How about that? James Harden doing defense for a change to win a game. This was so great. I enjoyed every one of these close games so much. I hope we get a whole lot more, because blowouts are boring. Winners. Rest versus Russ, not the rest or the Russ, but the debate. Anyone who loves to debate Rest versus Russ, this is the argument for you. If you're a debater for Rest, you say, look, the Clippers beat the hell out of the Nuggets. If you say Rust is bad, then you say, look, the Rockets beat the hell out of the Lakers. Either way, there's no right answer to this question. It's just something that we like to argue about. And so there you have it. If you love this argument, it's there for you. Losers. They said low blows in my ear. I'm going to tell you what the real word is. Nut shots. Sorry. Earmuffs on the kids. Nut shots. Brad Wanamaker, you are on your way to become a member of the Oklahoma City Thunder by hitting Kyle Lowry in his balls of steel. Not cool. How many times do we have to say this? Not cool. Not cool, okay, NBA? Not cool. Stop hitting people below the belt. Winner. Next winner we got is the Brooklyn Nets. That's right. They got my guy, two-time is what they call him. They call him Steve-O. They call him Captain Canada. And now they call him head coach of the Brooklyn Nets. This man right here is the right guy for the job for several reasons. Number one, he's got a relationship with the stars. And with these two stars, you absolutely need a relationship. Number two, he is a confidence breather into role players. I've seen it firsthand in Phoenix, how he brought guys and elevated their games up by making them believe in themselves in a way they'd never believed before. And number three, he's got a relationship with the general manager. And Perk, you know this, Cassidy, Christine, you guys all know this. If you want to be a successful franchise in this league, your front office and your coaching staff have to be on the same page. You look at Boston, you look at San Antonio, you look at Miami, you look at Golden State. All these things have one thing in common. There isn't an adversarial relationship between head coach and front office.
I mean, you alluded to it, or you talked about it, the fact that Steve Nash has relationships with players. Perk, you had a great relationship with Doc Rivers. Do you expect that same thing to happen between KD and Steve Nash?
Well, it's hard to say. I mean, you walk in a fine line because, I mean, just because he have a great relationship with Kevin Durant doesn't mean he's going to have a great relationship with everyone else in the locker room. That's the thing of being a head coach. You can't just have a great relationship with one person. You got to get everyone to buy into the system because this is not an individual sport. This is a team sport. Hats off to Steve Nash because I always love to see a former player get put in this type of position and have this type of opportunity. But he got a tall task at hand. It's not going to be easy at all. And by the way, Christine, Cassidy, can I say this to you guys? Lizards are not that bad, okay? Lizards are great. When I see a lizard come into my house, I want 2 or 3 to come in. You know why?
Why are we bringing that back? I'm shook.
They eat spiders. They eat all the insects that you don't want in there. Cassidy, open your window and let some more come in.
No,
they won't bite you.
I was told if they crawl on you, you get a wart. I was told like they cause warts. Is that not true?
I don't think that's true.
My great grandmother used to wear them as earrings.
I think I remember you saying that. See,
No,
my
stop
thing
it.
about lizards.
I'm so mad at you right now.
My thing about lizards is like with a bug, you can just smash it, right? Like if you want to kill it, what do you do with a lizard? You don't want to do that.
No.
That's too much.
Christine, we're gonna call PETA on you.
Liz,
I don't like them. I mean,
look,
for bugs, not for lizards.
Growing up in the country, I was always told never to kill a lizard. My grandparents would go crazy if I was to harm a lizard, right? Because they was like, Kendrick, the lizards eat all the insects and bugs that you don't want around. So, like, I never killed a lizard in my life. Especially not this. Oh, okay. Why not? It's a nice pet.
It's the circle.
Okay, well, here's me and Cassidy believe that. Okay, you done? All right. Great vocals, by the way. Me and Cassidy think that lizards are very good, or very bad, sorry. So I'm going to talk about something in the bubble that's been very good. Since players have been in the bubble, they've used their platform to advocate for different things, right? We saw multiple players rock an orange hoodie at the start of the WNBA season. And since then, Grant Williams was seen in a dope Breanna Stewart hoodie where she was seen rocking all of her hardware. We all remember when the Lakers wore the hats demanding that Breonna Taylor's killers be arrested. We've seen shirts with her face on them. And when Montrezl Harrell flicked it up after winning Game 6, after winning Sixth Man of the Year, he put Taylor on shoes next to his trophy. Before leaving the bubble,
Shout out NBA Bubble Life.
Damian Lillard wore a shirt that said "Protect Black Women." And even though he didn't wear it, LeBron James posted a message to black girls on his Instagram yesterday, which is nice, right? Because while some guys troll women on social media saying that they can either beat them in their sport or whatever the degrading message is of the day, it's been really good to see some of the tallest men on the planet stand up for women. So Cassidy, as a woman, how important and influential, and just good is it to see these NBA basketball players not only standing up for things that they believe in, like social justice, but also being a voice for women.
I mean, the point is it shouldn't just be as a woman, you know, it matters to everyone. I think the common theme is equality for all that I think the NBA has been standing up for even before they came here inside the bubble. And so, you know, I've even had a lot of conversations with some NBA players as they're watching what's happening in the WNBA bubble, in the Wubble. And, you know, Serge Ibaka asked me, like, why isn't there more attention to what's happening in their bubble and, you know, like some of the disadvantages they may have with their setup there. And I said, you know, it takes more people just talking and bringing attention. You know, that first week when there wasn't NBA games and there was WNBA games, you know, there was so much communication about what was happening, and those ratings were great for the WNBA. And unfortunately, it just takes more people investing their time in talking about the WNBA and everything that league is doing, both inside and outside the line. So, you know, it's not just as a woman. I know that Perk and Amin, you know, feel strongly about what that league has been doing for social justice and social change. And just in general, the conversation of equality is black, white, male, female, gay, straight. That's the bottom line, guys.
You certainly.
Yeah, to quote my buddy Steven Jackson, love for all who have love for all. That's it comes down to that.
I love it. I love it. You love to see it. Basketball rolls on, so we're going to get into our main attraction. At the bottom of the hour on ABC, we got the Bucks versus the Heat. The Bucks could be going home after this one. Bud has taken some heat for his playing time decisions with the Bucks in this series. Amin, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, you know, look, it's one thing to say I'm going to save my guy for later, but later is now for the Bucks. And the idea that Giannis hadn't been playing a whole lot of minutes in this series was kind of weird. What are you saving him for? It's now or never. To quote Carl Weathers in Rocky, there is no tomorrow. There is no tomorrow. And so now we are really in the there is no tomorrow zone. But the problem is he's playing on a bum ankle. Even though he's going to play, we know he's not 100%. And we know from ankle injuries, playing on them doesn't make them better. The only thing that makes an ankle injury better is not playing on it. But you put yourself in a position where you're going to have to give it everything you got, otherwise you're going home today.
Well, I agree, I mean, to a certain extent. Everyone keeps talking about why is Giannis not playing a lot of minutes. But when you look at the plus minus, actually the Bucks are pretty much better with Giannis on the bench. They have been a negative 34 in the plus minus category with Giannis on the floor. And on top of that, Giannis hasn't been able to stay out of foul trouble. Like, what is Bud supposed to do? Like, he's picking up 2 to 3 quick fouls in the first half that's forcing him to sit. And to Bud defense, he can't trust Giannis because he don't know if he may pick up a charge and get his 4th foul. And then Giannis is not built to play 40 minutes because they blow everybody out in the regular season.
You don't believe that, though, Perk. You don't believe that this team is better with Giannis on the floor. And you pulling out the plus minuses and whatnot. I'm just saying, the only way this team is going to win is behind Giannis, and Giannis needs to believe that, and that's the point.
No, but Cassidy, when you look at the way that this Miami Heat defense is set up, it's set up to wall up Giannis, and it's so predictable because they wall off and close out to their three-point shooters. They're easier to guard. Without Giannis on the floor, it's more motion in their offense. I'm not saying that the MVP of this season is not supposed to be on the floor. I'm just giving you the facts. That's the facts.
I mean, you gotta follow up.
Perk, this is what I'm gonna say though. I think that's on Bud though. So like we're saying, I agree with what you're saying, but I'm saying, Bud, that's on you to find a different way to use him, to have him flex cut along and seal off at the rim, to have him do side pick and roll. do different things so that they can't defend you the same way they've been defending you. The problem with the Bucks is that when they run into a wall, a proverbial wall, and mess up, they think, oh, if we just do it again next time, it'll work. Oh, it'll work next time. It'll work next time. And it keeps not working, but they keep not changing what they're doing.
Well,
but I mean, what can he possibly do? What position could he possibly put him in if Giannis can't shoot the ball? Because if he get the ball on the low block, the Miami Heat are going to trap. If they run Giannis in the pick and roll, the paint is congested. It's not like he's going to be able to catch, roll, and catch and finish or catch lob to the basket. So with him not being able to shoot the ball, what offense can you actually put him, or what set can you run for him that's going to put him in position to be successful? I'm just curious.
So for me, it's all about quick. It's all about quick. So, for instance, like I said, if you run him flex cuts along the baseline and then he seals right in front of the rim, catch and go. Catch and go. Not catch and do the Charles Barkley, Mark Jackson dribble for 17 seconds. Yeah, we're going to collapse on that. But if you catch and go, if you put him closer to the rim on those catches, he's able to go up, extend, and finish through the contact because at that point, his length is just too great to overcome. And then when you talk about side pick and roll, when you got him as a roll man, if the defense is going to collapse on that, then that's a lot easier for the pass to come out, the skip pass to your shooters, and harder for them to recover to those shooters than it is where they're at right now. Because right now, the idea is that they're giving him the ball at the top of the key, and they're flattening out. That's way too easy for Miami.
All right,
you got to try something different, I guess.
We'll have to end the show. You guys can call each other.
We sitting up here arguing about something. We arguing about something that don't even matter no more because they going home anyway.
We'll just see what Bud and the Bucks do literally right now on ABC and the ESPN app. Thanks for joining us, guys. Go watch the game.